Right. Working on objects. All these time, the programs, whatever we wrote, or say we use the data types, are all on say text, numbers, or a long integer, something like that. Today we'll see how we can work on objects. So what are objects? Say it can be an application, it can be a workbook, or it can be a worksheet, and it can be a Paiute table or a chart. If you guys remember, in the previous session, in first session or second session, we discussed about the sheets. That is adding a sheet, deleting a sheet, or renaming a sheet. That is an object. Similarly, we'll see more other objects. That is how to work on workbooks or say pivot tables or charts. Let me open one Excel file and we'll see how we can work on a workbook, how to add a workbook, or how to extract data, or say how to save this workbook or close the workbook. I have this workbook. Let me save this. We'll go to our folder, new batch, macro enabled, file, and say class 9. Fine. Let me name this as WKS objects. Now let's go to our module and name this as well WKS objects. Then I'll insert one module. I'll say we'll work on workbook object. Mod workbooks. Let's say I want to add one workbook, or say I want to insert one workbook. To create a new workbook, so sub create new workbook. You just have to say workbooks.add. That's all. Like what we have sheets.add, like that. And if I execute this, see, a new workbook will get added in. Let me close this. This is just to create. Now what if I want to put this into one say variable? Then we'll go here, say sub create workbook, say by data type, dim, I'll say WB, say new workbook as workbook. See, workbook itself is a data type. Say enter. Now I want to create a workbook and assign that object what created to this variable. Like if I have dim inti as integer and say inti equals 100. So this is how I'll be assigning a variable. But if I take one object data type, how will I assign value to this object data type? So what I'll do, let me delete this. Say WB new equals. When it comes to object data type, I cannot directly say like this WB new or say the variable equals the object name. What I have to do here is I have to use something called a set. So what this will do, it will set the space in the memory for this object data type. So set WB new equals, I'll say workbooks.add. See, this workbooks.add here, it was just creating, but here I'm trying to say assign the workbook which is added to this variable. So what all I can do with this, I'll tell you. Now let's say I added, let me run this. See, a new workbook has been added, and that value, that the object whatever is created, that will be assigned here. Now let me close this. I want to save this workbook. Let me copy this, paste it. Let's say save. Now when I'm saving a file, I need to know the path where I'm saving. So for that, what I'll do is I'll say dim str path as string. This path is nothing but where am I saving the file. Let's take the path of the workbook what I've created here, the same path. To get the path of the workbook what I'm working here, I'll say this workbook dot path. When I say this workbook dot path, that means I'm taking the path of the VBA macro file which I'm writing, that is VBA class 6, wherever it is there, it will give me that path. Now we'll go here, I'll say wb new dot save as, it will ask for the file name. File name is what? I'll say new file dot xlsx. But if I give like this, what will happen? It will not know in which path it has to paste. For that reason, I've taken this path. I'll take this path and I'll put it here and say ampersand. Here I'll say slash. I have the path and here I'll be saving the file. Let me run this. If you go and check this path, let's go and check the path, say evening batch. See, the file what I created will be in this path. Let's save the file. Fine. Now I want to save and close the file. Now if you see here, it is saved, but it is still open. I want to save and then close the file. Let me close this file. What we'll do here, select this. Now I'll say close. So what we did here is to save the file. Now here I'm trying to create one new workbook. I'll say save as, and here I'll say wb new dot close. That is, wb new is nothing but the workbook. Say dot close, it will ask for save changes. I'll say true. If you remember in our previous session in workbook module, we had this before close. I'll say this workbook dot close and I mentioned it as true. That is, it is saving the file. Same thing. This workbook is nothing but the workbook what you have created now. Dot close means it's trying to close, and here I'm saying true so that it will save and close. Now I'll create one file here. This code what it will do, it will create one file. So already one file was there. So file is created with new file. Here I'm trying to close this. See, it is still open. The new file is still open. Now let's say F8. See, the file got closed. Now if you go here to this path, see, I have that file. I need to open this file. Let me open this manually and I'll just put some data there. Select this. I'll close this file. Now I need to open this file which is named as new file. This one. Let me copy this and I'll try to open the file now. Open means the existing file what I'm trying to open. Here wb new is nothing but the workbook. Then I have this str path, that is string, that is path. Now what we'll do is instead of workbooks.add, here it is adding a new workbook. But now I need to open a workbook. So for that, what I'll do, I'll say workbooks.open. When I say open, I need to give the path. I'll say str path ampersand slash new file dot xls text and close the bracket. Now I don't need this. Let me take out this. See, here I'm trying to open the existing file. Let's try to open this. F8. Let's go and check. See, this file got opened. We close this. So this is how I'll be working on the workbook object. Means I have a data type that is workbook, and this workbook I'm trying to assign to one variable, and I can either add or say open, and I can do some modifications. Anyways, this will be in a very in-depth say classes in our dashboard sessions, wherein we'll tell you how to open the workbook, copy the data and paste it somewhere, and again mail it in Outlook. So many things will happen. That will be there in our dashboard course. Okay, here I'm trying to just make you aware how this workbook object will be and how to assign that value. Now I can add or I can open it and close the workbooks. Right. Next is what we'll do is we'll see how we can work on pivot table. I'll just take the data here and I'll show you how we can create pivot table. See here, worksheet object we already discussed, that is how to insert or delete or something. Now what I'll do, I'll go to this pivot table and I'll show you how you can create the pivot table in Excel. I'm just copying this and I'll paste it somewhere. Let's say here only I'll just paste in D5 and I'll close this file. I just took the data to work on pivot table. So you guys know pivot table means it's a summarized report or a summary of the main table. I'll create one sheet here. So what I have to do is, with this data which is there in WKS objects, I want to create one pivot table. People actually think that creating a pivot table is very complex. Writing a macro for creating a pivot table. I'll tell you, for creating pivot table it is very simple. Only thing is you'll have to understand the hierarchy of the pivot table object. That I'll tell you in a very simple way. Let's say Alt F11. I'll create one module. F4, and here I'll say mod underscore, let's say pivot. Fine. Here I'll say sub create pivot table. I'm writing a macro to create one pivot table. When I'm creating a pivot table, there are two objects what you have to always remember. What are the two objects? I'll tell you. One is pivot cache and one is pivot table. These are the two objects you should keep in your mind. What pivot cache will do is it will create a memory, and what pivot table will do is it will help me in creating the pivot table. It will be like this, say dim pivot cache as pivot cache. This is the object. This is nothing but the memory. Dim pivot table as pivot table. This is the pivot table. So these two objects you should remember. If you remember these objects, then it will be very easy for you to write the macro for creating the pivot table. First thing is we'll try to assign this pivot cache to this pivot PVT cache variable. How to do that? I told you. When I'm assigning an object data type for a variable, I should use set pivot cache equals set pivot cache equals. That means I'm creating this pivot cache, that is the memory in the workbook. I'll say this workbook dot pivot caches, open the bracket, it will ask for the index. What I'll do, instead of this I'll say dot create, because I'm creating it. Open bracket, and there are different way of taking the data. I'll take this Excel database, that is I have the data in Excel only, comma, it will ask for the source. Source is nothing but this one, the data which is there in WKS objects. I'll say WKS objects dot range of, here I'll mention this D5, say dot current region, close bracket. Current region, what it will do, it will select the entire region like this. The current region means this complete region. From D5 it is taking the entire table. If I would have given D5 to H53, this is also fine, like this D5 to H53 is also fine. But here the problem is, if the data gets increased, say some more data gets increased here, then that will select till H53 only. So instead what I'm trying to do is I'm taking this dot current region, which will help me in selecting the entire table even if it is increasing the data. Okay, so you can decide whether it should be hard coded or it can be dynamic. So better way is this one, so that the current region will select the entire table. Now I'm creating this pivot cache. Now what we'll do, we'll try to create a pivot table, say pvt table equals. This pivot table is created within this pivot cache which we just created. Say pivot cache dot say create pivot table. I'm trying to create, this is the hierarchy, say pivot cache, then pivot table, and then I have to specify where it has to be created. It is asking for table destination. That means where should I create? I'll go here, I'll create in this WKS pivot sheet. So let's check whether I've renamed it. No, I'm not renamed. So what we'll do, we'll rename this, say enter. Right. Say pivot cache dot create pivot table. Now we'll take the destination as WKS pivot. We'll create it in D5. Say WKS pivot dot range of D5. So this is where I'm creating my pivot table, comma. It'll ask for a name. So any object you create, there should be a name for that. What I'll do is I'll say it as new table. Close the bracket. See, one is I created pivot cache, then I created pivot table. Now if I execute this, let me just execute this. See, I got one pivot table here, and you can see all the fields here. Fine. Let's go back. This is for creating a pivot table. Next step, we'll see how to add fields. I'll just say add fields. Now if I execute this program, it'll throw error. See, application defined or object error. So why is that error coming? Let me go back. Already there is a pivot table with pivot new table. If you go here, see, I already have a pivot table with the same name. So what I'll do, I want a table to be created in this sheet in the same place. So for that, WKS pivot dot cells dot clear. That means I'm trying to clear the entire sheet so that I can create a new pivot table. See, everything is cleared. Now a new table is created. Every time when I run this, it will clear and it will create a new pivot table. I need to add the fields, whatever is there here. So what I'll do, I'll go here, how to add fields. Say add fields. Let's take the pivot table dot pivot fields. Open the bracket. If you see here, I have 4 fields. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called as page filter. This is called as row filter. This is column filter, and this is data filter. Or say fields. Say field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. So in this code also we have 4 fields. One is page field, then row field, column field, and then data field. We have to decide which one to go in which field. Now if you go and check this, I have all the fields here, that is the columns. Let's say I want region to be placed here in this row field. I'll go here, type region dot, I'll say orientation. Orientation means the one what I'm placing here. So which place I need to place, whether it should be row wise or column wise. That is orientation. It is nothing but, if you go to this page layout, I have this orientation. If you click here, it says portrait or landscape. Similarly, it is like that. So row or column, whether it should be in row wise or column wise. Now let's take it as row wise. I'll go here, say Excel row field. See, fine. Let's take like this. It'll come like this, row field, and let me take the sales to value field. Okay, so this is a field. Let me delete this. Let's go back, and here I'll say pivot table and paste it. Let me change this to sales. Just orientation here, instead of row field, I'll just change this to data field. Let me execute this. See, I'll get the same result like what I did manually. Let me again do this and show you. See, cleared, complete pivot table is cleared, but a pivot table is created. Now region is added here, and then sales is added in data field. Fine. Now I want one field to be in column like this. Let's say I'll take category. Just copy this. You just have to change only the field. I'll go here, say category, and then here I'll say column, and then let me execute this. See, it is come in column field. So I want to add one more ship mode in row field. I'll go here, select this, paste it, say ship mode, run this. See, please make sure that the spelling what is there in this column should be exactly what you're trying to write in the code. Suppose if I'm giving like this, say ship mode, there is no space, run this, see, it will throw error, unable to get the pivot fields. If at all you're getting this error, please go there and check the field name. See, I'll just go here, I'll correct it. Now if I run this, I'll not get that error. So you should be very careful with these things. Fine. Next, suppose I want to add one more data field, that is profit also. Then what I'll do, go here, copy this, put it here, say profit, and that is data field. Run this. See, so likewise, first I told you these two are the objects which you should actually remember. After that, whatever comes, it is very simple. That is, I just have to change the orientation to row field or column field or data field or page field. That's all. So it will keep on changing and we can get the result like this. Now let's say I want, say, region, category and sales. I'll just comment this. I don't want this profit. See, row field, column field, data field. That's all. Say fi. See, again it will come back to this. So this is pivot table. Now let's see how we can work on chart object. Chart objects are very interesting actually. A lot of things what you can do in that. In that, I'll show you one interesting thing. I have one chart here. If you guys remember in our previous session, I showed you how to update by sheet module. Just click on something, the chart was getting updated. Similarly, let's go here. See, I'll select this sales. I'll get the sales data. Select this volume. See, so whatever I'm selecting, so based on that, the chart will get updated. Now here, this is actually changing the data here. See, if I go here, say sales, it is changing to this data. Say volume, it is changing for this data. Now I want to change the chart type itself. Now it says column. Let me go and click on this pie. See, this will become pie chart. Go and click on this line, it will change to line chart. So I'm trying to change the chart type itself. So how can I do all these modifications? That is how to do the chart or type changing, or say change the source itself. This is very simple. Again, I'll tell you how to do. Let me copy this data and I'll put it in my sheet here. Say we'll put it here, right? So let me close this file. So first what we'll do, we'll try to create one chart based on this sales. Select this, insert, and I will select a chart here and I'll put it here. Let's keep it here like this. I'll hide the grid line so that it will be very nice to see. See, I can remove the grid line here. If you want, you can format it here. Right. Now, if you want to get quantity, so what I have to do? Right click, select data, and have to select this data. That is manually if I am doing. But what I want is, I want this to be dynamic. That is, when I select a drop down, this has to keep changing from this source to this source to this source. How to do that? We'll do step by step. First, I have a data here, that is sales, quantity, and market. And then I have a chart here. I need to get one drop down. Let's take this value here. I'll say we'll take it here only. Sales, quantity, say market, ship. Why I've taken this is to put that into a drop down. Let's go to this VBA editor, insert a module F4, say mod underscore, say chart. Now what we'll do, first thing is name this object. Select this. We'll name this object as obj chart. Name the object so that it will be very easy for me to recognize on what object I'm writing the code. right click, and I'll go to this VBA editor, say sub, I'll say update chart. First we'll see how to use this chart object. That is, chart itself is a data type. We learned about workbook, then about the pivot cache, pivot table, or say sheet. Okay, so likewise chart is also an object. Say dim, I'll give a name, say obj chart as chart. See, this chart itself is a data type. Now I want to take this chart into this variable. So how to do that? I'll go here, I'll say set obj chart equals wcase, I not renamed it, let's rename this quickly, chart, and here we'll rename this, I just rename the sheet, say set obj chart equals wcase chart dot, now don't say range, now what should I say, because this is a chart, I'll say chart objects, and I'll take the name of this, the name of that is obj chart. You can name anything, but please name it dot chart. This is nothing but it's very similar to your sheet range, then address dot value, like that. I'm using this for chart object, say sheet chart objects. What is the chart object dot chart, say enter. Now I got this chart into this variable obj chart. First thing is we'll see how to set this data, that is the source. So here I'll say obj chart dot set source. So this is how we'll be changing the source. I'll say it lasts for the source. Here we'll take this. That is, we'll go here, say heading, say M to N10. I told you can use current region as well. So that is the best option. WKS chart dot range of, we'll take this, say M5 dot current region. Done. Now if I run this, see the source data, it's taking this one. Let me just change to P5 manually. I'll just change here, say P5, and run this. See, it got changed to this one. That means now I know how to change the source, that is source data. I just have to change the address. Now what we'll do this change by a drop down. How to do that? So what we'll do, we'll go here to developer. If you don't have developer, go to file, say options, and here I have this custom ribbon, and if you scroll down here I'll have this developer. If you don't have, otherwise it's fine, take this, that is enable this, say okay, and I'll get this developer tab. In this developer tab I have this insert and I have the controls here. Let me take this, say combo box, select and put it here like this. This is a drop down. If you go and click on this drop down, see I don't have any elements here. So how to put that items to this, right click, format control, and then here I have this input range, select this, and then I'll have a cell link, click just above that, say okay. I'll tell you what it is. The range what I selected, input range, is this one, so that I'll get the value here. The cell link what I gave here, that is nothing but to get the index number of the selected item. The index number is this one. See, I'm getting 1. 1 means sales. I'll say 2, that is this one, quantity. Then select this market share, that means 3. Now we know the serial number, that is 1 is for sales, 2 is for quantity, and 3 is for market share. We'll go back. What we'll do is, and I'll just make another program here, say dim int as integer. Here I'll say int I equals the index number, the selected index number here, say M13 WKS chart dot range of M13 dot. Now we'll put one if condition saying that if int I is equal to 1, then else if int I is equal to 2, then else end if. So if it is 1, that means this range, sales. If it is 2, that means this range, that is quantity. Else I have to take this market share. Now what we'll do, we'll go here. I'll just take this set source data and I'll put it here. One is M5, that is this one is M5 when it is sales. Copy this, I'll paste it here, and here I'll say P5, that means this is for quantity. Copy this and I'll put it here, and I'll say this is S5 for market share. You go and check this value. If it is 1, that means it is for sales, 2 is for quantity, and 3 is for market share. That is what you are given the condition. If it is 1, then take this value. If it is 2, then take this value. If it is 3, then take this value. Let's make it some value here. Let's say this divided like this. I'll just hard code it. I'll make it as 11%. Right. Now what we'll do is we'll take this macro, assign macro, and now let's say okay. Now let me select the sales. See, it is selecting this because here it is going and checking. If it is 1, it is taking this source. Now let me go here and click on quantity. See, it's taking this. Now let me select this market share. See, it's taking this market share like this. So this is for selection of the source. But what if I want to change the chart type itself? So I want to change the chart type. Say this is column chart. Say I want to make it pie chart or say line chart or whatever. So in that case, I need to have an option button. So what I'll do is I'll see how we can work on option button. Go to developer, insert, and here I have this option button. I'll select here. And here I'll say column. This for column chart. Select and then go here. I'll say pie chart. And then say line chart. So anything, whichever chart you want to convert, you can just put it here. If I click on this column, they should get converted to column. If I click on this pie, they should become pie chart. Line, they should become line chart. But I should know what has been clicked. Then only I can write the program. So for that, what I'll do, right click and say format control. And here I will select one of the cell. Just select anywhere. Say OK. Now if I select this column, see, I'll get an index number. So it is how we have created the option button. First we created this, so it is giving me the index number as 1. Now I'll click on this, it says 2. Now this, it is 3. That means 1, 2, 3. This is 1 is for column, 2 is for pie chart, and 3 is for line chart. Let me go back. Let me copy this. Finally, what we'll do is we'll take one more variable, and here we'll say that this variable will be equals to this one, that is P13. I'll make it as P13. Let's scroll down. This is for changing the source. Now what we're doing, we're trying to change the chart type itself. I'll say chart if intk equals 1, then else if intk equals 2, then else index. Now what it is doing here, I'm just trying to show that if it is 1, it should be a column chart. If it is 2, it should be pie chart. If it is 3, it should be line chart. Now we'll go here. I'll say obj chart dot chart type here. See, just say equals. It will give me all the chart types, whatever is there. I'll go and I'll select the column chart. Say Excel column clustered. Column clustered is nothing but this type. Copy this. Second, If it is 2, then it should be pie chart. Just go here and just type P, it will give me that pie chart. See, it's a pie chart. Copy this, paste it. Next is the line chart. Just go here, say, just type L, it will give me. Say if you want only line, I'll get only line. If you want line markers, then say line markers. Line means it will not have the dot, the markers. If you want with markers, then I can use line markers. Take this code, what you have written, and then select all these objects, the option button, assign macro, and assign this macro. Now let's go and check this. See, I'll click on this. It is a column chart. Now let me click on this. See, automatically it will get converted to pie chart, because if you have mentioned here, say object chart, that is dot chart type should be equals to pie if it is 2. That is, here it is 2. Let me click on this line. See, so whatever you click, that will get changed. Now here I'll go and I'll say sales. See, we'll go to this chart. Let's say quantity market share, like this. So this is how you can actually handle the charts. Chart itself is an object, and for that I'll be using this chart objects. For pivot, I'll be using, say, pivot and pivot table, and for pivot cache I'll be using pivot cache. Okay, so these are some of the objects. There are so many objects like this. We'll be going in depth of all these in reporting techniques. That is, in dashboards, what we'll do is we'll be having these kind of dashboards, say multiple dashboards. Now what will happen here, I have so many legends, I want to select only few of them. So there are courses which are called as reporting techniques. That itself is a in-depth chapters. Suppose if you guys are interested, you can attend tomorrow's session, that is dashboard, so you can know that what kind of different charts or advanced charts or automations I can do. That I'll be discussing in the dashboard session tomorrow, which is a demo session, which will be at 7 o'clock. Okay, fine. Next is we'll discuss about errors. I'll just take one of the program. I'll just see errors are, it depends on you where to apply. But it's a good practice to have errors when you feel that the program, what you're writing, okay, there is some errors which will come unexpectedly. First, we'll understand what are these errors, how they occur. Syntax errors. There are something called as syntax errors. What will happen is while typing itself, I'll get the error. Say, for example, here somewhere I got one error. Let's say I'll not give this then. If int k equals 1, see, it will throw error. This is called a syntax error. Syntax error means it will come as soon as I'm actually typing it. See, then let me go here. I'll not put this double quote. See, it will throw error. These are actually syntax error. This you have to correct it while writing the program itself. There are some errors which will come while running the program. Those are called as compile errors. So what are those? Let's say I'll make it as WKSCH. See, I'm not getting error. Let me run this now. I'll execute. See, variable not defined. That means this variable is not there. The sheet is not there. These are called as compile errors. These compile errors will occur when I'm actually trying to execute the program. Let's go here. I will not declare this. I'm not declaring intk. Let me run this. See, it is throwing error. These are the errors, the syntax errors, the compile errors. But how to overcome? Let's take one example. I'll take one example here. Say sub error handling. Set him, say int, or we'll take lng s as long and dim lng, let's say this value divided by this value. Say n6 divided by q6. We'll go here, lng q as long. So I've taken two variable. I'll say lng s equals wks chart dot range of, let's take this value, that is n6 dot value. Right. Now let me take this and I'll take lng q, and this will be q6. I want the result to be somewhere here, or let's say we'll take it here, p2. Say wks chat dot range of p2 dot value equals lng s divided by lng q. So this is my code, a simple code. Let me run this. See, I'm getting a result here. But what if there is no value here? There is no value. Now let me run this program. See, I'm getting error. That is, it is saying division by 0. Let's take one more calculation. I'm trying to get one more value in P1. Say P1. Again, it will be lng s divided by 0. Now here also it is 0. Here also it is 0. When I run this, first it will come and it will stop here. It will not go further. See, division by 0. Say it will stop here only. It is not going to this because this itself is not getting executed. Fine. How to handle this? Say I don't know. There are some chances that here zeros might occur. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go here and I'll say on error resume next. This on error resume next, what it will do is it will execute your program. If there is any error, it will not check. It will directly jump. But this will not work for your compile errors. See here, I'll go here. If I go here and if I'm not giving this, see, let's run this. See, let's go here on error resume next. Okay, let's try to run this. See, for this it will not work, for variables not declaring and all. So where this will work? See, in this case I'm actually trying to do some calculation here. The variables are there, everything is there, only the value is 0. I put this as on error resume next. Now let me run this. So this is another program. Just stop this. So I'll come to this program, I'll run this. See, it is running, but I'm not getting the result here, either in P1 or P2, because these two are error. These two are wrong calculations. Now what I'll do is, in this place, I'll say on error go to 0. When I say on error go to 0, this will stop. Now let me run this. See, it is coming to this code now. That means it stopped here. Again, that error check will happen. Now you might ask, what if I specify this on error resume next so that I'll not get any error at all? Never do this. This on error resume next is very dangerous, because when you're writing a program, you cannot find where you're doing the mistake. It will not show any debug error. Say I'll go here. See, I'm not specifying, run this, immediately it will give me the error here. I can go and I can rectify it, or give some solution, or I can plan something. But if I would have given this on error resume next, see, it will not ask anything. Let me just go here, remove this. See, it is not giving any error. So what will happen? That means I might assume that there is no error in any of this calculation, so my program is right. But when you give it to the client, if the result is not coming, then what will happen? It's a wrong way of doing the calculation. So for that, if you don't have any option, say in this case I don't have any option, that is, here you might have zeros, you don't know. In that case, unavoidable situations, you can use this on error resume next, but not always. Now if I run this, see, it is going here and it is taking the error. That means on error resume next will stop this. Say on error go to 0, will stop this on error resume next, and again the error will start. Okay, so this is the errors. So if you understand these errors, that means whenever you feel that you have to put, then you can add the error handler here to handle the unavoidable errors in the program. Okay, so this is all we have in this session today.